After the release of DeepSeek R1, an incredible open source reasoning LLM, OpenAI almost immediately fired back, releasing o3-mini, which is their next generation of their advanced reasoning models, and this one is very impressive as well. And they had to fire back quick. I mean, DeepSeek R1 was kicking their butt, being open source and more powerful than all of their other models. And so now we have two very impressive reasoning LLMs, and everyone is wondering, probably including you, which one is better. And there are a lot of different ways to compare these LLMs and different things they can do, but coding is one of the biggest things that everyone cares about. And so right now, we're going to use bolt.diy, our open source AI coding assistant, to settle this debate and code some apps, both with o3-mini and DeepSeek R1, and see which one is better. So right now, I'm just going to have a blast using these two LLMs to write some code and see what kind of results we get together. And I do want to preface by saying that both of these models are absolutely incredible in their own right. And there's a lot of differences between them as well. So it's not super easy to compare them in every way, though right now we are going to see which gives us the better code. And I mean, the first big difference is that R1 is open source while o3-mini is not. And there are also a lot of other differences as well, like architecture, context limits, the total parameters for these models, and also what they excel at. A lot of times, o3-mini is considered to be better at more directed tasks that we see in a lot of AI agents, but then R1 is considered better at more logical, free-thinking tasks like solving logic problems and deep research. So just keep that in mind when we compare R1 to o3-mini right here. It's not an end-all be-all comparison, and I really want to emphasize that, but it certainly is going to sway my decision for which LLM I use to code, and that's one of the biggest things that I do with AI right now. So I'm super excited to try out both of these LLMs in bolt.diy. Alright, so I wanted to start by talking about what we are getting ourselves into with o3-mini and R1. And this article on Hugging Face I found definitely worth the read just to get a grounding for the differences between these models. So I'll have this linked in the description of the video. The first thing that I liked a lot is this table that they have right here that covers all the differences between these models besides just the obvious R1 is open source and o3-mini is not. And honestly, the most interesting thing that I saw is the architecture difference. I mean, OpenAI o3-mini, it's a dense transformer architecture like most of the OpenAI models. And then R1 is a mixture of experts combined with reinforcement learning from human feedback. And so a completely different architecture, which is super fascinating. Most people, they put both of these models in the same basket just because they are reasoning LLMs, but they operate entirely differently under the hood. And I know that most of us in the end just care how these models perform for our tasks like coding and AI agents, but it's still fascinating that these two models operate so differently when they're being compared head to head in so many different ways right now. So super cool. And this article also goes through some coding examples as well, which I thought were really good examples. And it seemed like o3-mini pulled ahead for most of these, but then R1 still had some advantages, like little things like the UI and stuff for some of these examples, and it did do better for a couple. So they seem pretty head on with each other in these examples, but now it is our turn to use bolt.diy and see what we can make with both. So here is our bolt.diy repository. You can literally go to the URL bolt.diy and it'll redirect you here for all of the code for open source AI coding assistant. And then if you scroll down in the home page here in this README, you'll get a list of all the cool features that we're working on, as well as instructions to set it up and run it locally on your computer, which is what we're going to be doing right here. And so we are going to be testing R1 and o3-mini with just coding right now using bolt.diy. I might also make another video in the future comparing them for AI agents as well, which is another huge thing that I always cover on my channel. And a really cool idea I actually have for this is all of the agents that are submitted right here as a part of the oTTomator AI Agent Hackathon, I might actually try them as AI agents with both R1 and o3-mini. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. I think that'd be super cool. Also, you can try all these agents right now. If you just go to studio.otomator.ai, you can try out all these agents and vote for which one you think should win the hackathon competition, which is going on right now. So definitely check that out. I wanted to plug that really quick because it's a super exciting thing that we have going on. But anyway, back on over to bolt.diy. We're going to be using o3-mini directly through the OpenAI API, and then DeepSeek R1 through OpenRouter. So I'm going to be using the Nitro version because I've been getting some outages with the DeepSeek API, which is kind of unfortunate. So it's a little bit more pricey here, but their normal version of R1 is this one right here, which is much more affordable. And so Nitro is, yeah, more pricey right here going through Together AI, but generally DeepSeek R1 is much, much cheaper. And then o3-mini, this is the pricing for that right here. So both models are going to be a bit more pricey, but we're going to get some insane results. So let's go and actually test that now. All right, now it is time. And I'm going to start with o3-mini here because it is the newer model. So we're going to create a simple application with o3-mini, then do with R1, then go on to one that's a little bit more complex, and then repeat that process just a couple of times, and we should have a winner by the end of this. So to start out with o3-mini, I'm going to build a simple application just using one of the starter templates that we have here in bolt.diy. So nothing fancy to get started. I do find that even with these simple prompts, it still speaks a lot about the strength of the LLM though. So hopefully even with something simple like this, we'll start to see which one might be better, and then it should be clear as we go from app to app. So let me pause and come back once it is done coding everything here. 10 seconds later, and we already have our app built out by o3-mini. Now there is one thing that it did not do. It ran the install command here, but it did not run the command to actually run the site. And so I had to run that myself here in the Bolt terminal. I just typed in npm run dev, and then we have our preview here. So it looks pretty good overall. I'd say that o3-mini definitely knocked this simple task out of the park. I mean, there's a couple of weird things, like when it says the background photo is by Unsplash, I don't really know why it has that here. I mean, there's not even a background image, but I mean, overall the functionality is looking good. I can add a task, mark it off, delete it, and add more. Yep, it's looking great. Swapped over to R1. Now let's do the exact same thing. Remember, I'm using the Nitro here, but this is just regular DeepSeek R1 under the hood. This is just going through Together instead of the DeepSeek API because they have a major outage right now, which we've kind of been seeing a lot here, which is unfortunate. But anyway, let's go ahead and build our React with Tailwind to do app. So yet again, I'm going to pause and come back once the app is fully built with R1. Okay, so it took a bit longer than o3-mini here, maybe 20 to 30 seconds instead of 10. So speed definitely goes to o3-mini, but R1 still completely knocked this out of the park with this very basic example here. And actually it ran the command to start the site for me, unlike o3-mini. So it did more of a true one-shot. So definitely I think the functionality goes to R1 as well. And also I like what it produced a bit more. I mean, o3-mini was more simplistic, and maybe you might like that, but I like how it actually thought to itself. It took this simple prompt and reasoned better about what I would actually need. So I didn't say that I needed some of these features here, but it knew that I really would want it. So here's an example. If I add a couple of tasks here, you can see that it says 0 of 2 complete. So there's really more here. Like that, there's nothing like this with the version that o3-mini produced. And it updates in real time as I mark things off or delete it. This is looking really, really nice. And then it's kind of cool. It says your task list is empty and serene. It's very peaceful right here when I don't have any tasks. And it doesn't show the image. I think that's actually more of an issue with the web container with Bolt. Overall, this looks absolutely perfect. So I think the functionality goes to R1. Speed is definitely going to o3-mini right now. But enough of this basic example. Let's actually take this to the next step with something more complex. The sponsor of today's video is RepoCloud, a phenomenal cloud platform that is also an open source app marketplace. I've never heard of something like this before. It is just super cool. And they have super competitive pricing for their instances and elastic auto scaling. So you're only paying for when your instances are being used, which saves you a fortune on your cloud bill. And they have one-click deployments for all these open source apps that I'll show you in a little bit, and they are continuously updating them, and it's super easy to bring these updates into your instances running these apps. The pricing for the RepoCloud instances are super impressive and very competitive. So if you go to their website, repocloud.io, and then go to their pricing page right here, you can click on all of their instance types, and you will see the comparison of their pricing compared to similar instances from all of their competitors. I'm talking EC2 on AWS, DigitalOcean, Linode, Railway, Render, all these platforms that I've used before that I like. and I'm very familiar with, but Repo Cloud beats them for pricing for every single instance type. It is so cool. You can click through all these, whatever your needs are, Repo Cloud has got you covered. And they have the dynamic scaling, the elastic compute that I talked about earlier, that'll save you on average 93% of your cloud bill, because you're only paying for when you're actually using these instances instead of just that straight up fee for $50 a month for your instance or whatever it might be on another platform like AWS. And then also they have their app marketplace. That's their homepage right here. All of these open source apps that you can deploy in one click so easily, including the very own, developed by our community, bolt.diy. You can deploy it in a single click, along with a lot of other things like N8N and Open Web UI that I absolutely love. And so going to my dashboard here, I actually have bolt.diy deployed here through Repo Cloud. I'll click into it. It has you log in for the first time, so they have it protected. But yeah, it's just so cool. Like, look at this. I got my bolt.diy right here hosted in the cloud instantly. It was literally just like one click, and then I had to enter in a few things, and that was it. So Repo Cloud is absolutely fantastic. I'd highly recommend checking them out. I'll have a link in the description to them and a pinned comment as well. Give it a shot. It's a great cloud platform to host your open source projects. Next up, we definitely have a more challenging prompt here. So this one I've actually covered in other videos on my channel, because I've used this to use a tool like Lovable or Bolt to create a full chat front end for my AI agents that are running locally or in N8N. And so I'll have a link to this in the description, this full prompt here, because you can use it with a tool like bolt.diy or Lovable to create a full front end. It's very, very neat. It integrates with Supabase completely for authentication and managing the agent chat history. And so I'm not going to dive into the details of this prompt, because we really just want to use this to test R1 and o3-mini versus dive into what I'm actually making here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this and bring it into my bolt.diy instance here. So I'll paste in the prompt. I filled in a couple of things that were placeholders there, like the URL for the agent and also my Supabase anonymous key and project URL. And so now I'm going to go ahead and paste this in, and we should take a bit longer here. It's going to be a little bit more that it has to actually produce. So yeah, using o3-mini to start like last time. Let me pause and come back once it has produced the app. So it took a few tries here with o3-mini to get to the working state that we're seeing right here in our app. So let me just scroll up and show you these errors pretty quick. So first of all, it started with just showing me the remix starter template page. So it mixed up something with the routes I had to fix. It took care of that, and then there were a few other errors that we had to work through here, which, by the way, with bolt.diy, it is super easy. Whenever you get an error in the front end, just click a button that you'll see around here. It'll paste in this entire error like you're seeing right here. I did not paste this in myself, and then it'll give it to the LLM to fix. So it took a few shots here, but now we've got something. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to use some test credentials that I have created in Supabase. We'll see if we have a working app. And so let me sign in. And okay, this is looking really good compared to Lovable and bolt.new, which I tested the same prompt with in other videos on my channel. This is looking pretty impressive. So you can load the conversation history here for all of our different chats that we have just stored in Supabase right now. Let's see if I can actually continue a conversation as well. So I'll just go to this one right here. I'll just say hello. We'll see if we get a response. So it's loading, and yeah, we got a response back from our N8N agent that is running live right now. And the only thing it messed up is it duplicated the user message, which I've seen this a lot, because it doesn't quite understand how the message comes through in the database as well, so it doesn't need to display it manually on the front end. But overall, this is looking really good. So everything is working great. It took a few tries to get there. Now let's see what it looks like with R1. All right, blank slate. Back over to DeepSeek R1 through OpenRouter. Let's paste in the prompt and let's give it a rip just like we did with o3-mini. So you know the drill. I'm going to pause and come back once we have our app. Okay, so it took a lot longer with R1 than it did o3-mini. That speed difference is definitely exaggerated with a more complex app, but I am very impressed with what R1 put out here. So it actually did pretty good even with just a single shot. So it took a few tries with o3-mini to even get to the point where it compiled. With R1, it was right away. So to be fair and to give it a couple more prompts like I did o3-mini, I just corrected some of the functionality itself to work on that. And what it produced is quite similar to actually when I used R1 to make something like this in one of my previous videos. But yeah, this is just looking so good. Honestly, looking better than o3-mini. So same exact Supabase here. So I'm going to log in with the same credentials, and let's take a look and see how it looks compared to o3-mini. Okay, so first problem here. it looks like it's not loading in my conversations, which is kind of weird. So everything else actually looks a lot better, but it seems like the functionality isn't quite perfect here. Let's see if I can send a message here to the LLM. So I'm saying hi, and okay, it works. So it has the same duplicate error message issue. So I didn't quite fix that, even though I was trying to tell it here in the prompt. So certainly not perfect, but it looks a lot better than o3-mini. I will say that. Um, let's see if the conversation history works. Everything's looking good there. Yes, it did. Okay, all right, everything's looking good. I can start a new conversation. I can log out. There's a lot more functionality here, but definitely a couple of more glitches than with o3-mini. So it's really hard for me to tell what actually is the winner here. It seems like you could even use these two together, like o3-mini to cover some of the functionality that R1 seems to mess up with, like the conversations here, but then using R1 to add in more features and make things just look nicer. So surprisingly, R1's actually better for the UI. I just kind of thought that o3-mini would be better for that. Super, super interesting. So now let's go on to the last test case here. Okay, so the last test that I want to do in this video is a more complex request, but a much simpler prompt. So it's kind of like, first, I'm testing off a very basic app. Then I'm testing a more complex app, but I guide it through the prompt in a lot of detail. Now I want to just give it a lot of creative freedom. So just a single sentence here, build me a fully functional chess site. I absolutely love chess. I was even a chess coach at one point in my life. And so, yeah, I thought this would be fun to try here. And o3-mini, again, it messed up a couple of times here and did that same thing where it just started with that welcome to Remix starter template page. And then when I had it correct itself, it still has welcome to Remix, which is really stupid, but I click on this button to play chess, and then it brings me to a chessboard. So, okay, I guess that works out fine. And it's pretty cool. Like, I click on a pawn, let's move it here, and it doesn't understand that I can move the pawn 2 spaces for the first move, so it's certainly not perfect. But yeah, it's working well. I can capture pieces, and like overall, it's really not following the rules of chess. So let me just try this here. I think I can actually take the king. I tested this earlier, and yeah, I can take the king. So I can put myself in check. So it's not a perfect situation here, but yeah, it's pretty cool that I made a full chessboard here just with a single prompt. I could probably take this much, much further. I'm not doing a lot of follow-up prompts in this video because I want to keep it short and concise and really compare models versus make a full app. But I probably could take this much, much further. So that's o3-mini. Let's go on to test the same thing with R1. Now here is the chessboard produced by DeepSeek R1. Now for both these examples here, I'm not showing the full thing starting it from scratch just because I want to keep this video concise here. So yeah, I'm just showing you the end result built with R1. And this looks so much better than the chessboard built from o3-mini. So the UI yet again goes to R1. Let's actually test out the functionality. So first of all, I'll click upon, and okay, it doesn't follow the rules. So it's just like o3, where it doesn't really work. It looks like I can just move all over the place. So I guess it's more meant for just if you want, yeah, this is awful. I guess it's more like if you are, trusting that you and your friend or whoever are actually going to make legal moves, then this would work really well. But otherwise, yeah, the functionality is not the best, just like with o3-mini. o3-mini actually did handle like illegal moves and things like that, or at least it tried to. So I would give the functionality to o3-mini. So it seems like in general, R1 has a much better UI and just the ability to like reason more about what you actually want. But then when it comes to actually implementing things correctly, it seems o3-mini has a bit of an edge there. And then also for speed, that definitely goes to o3-mini as well. So definitely pros and cons. Like I said just a little bit ago, it seems like there might actually be an opportunity to use these two LLMs together. And that is something I would love to create some more content on. So let me know in the comments if you are interested in that. Okay, I just gotta say, I had a blast using bolt.diy to build these different apps with R1 and o3-mini. I think it's the real winner just because I'm able to use this as an AI coding assistant for any LLM that I want. But yeah, like I said, it seems like o3 is better for speed and then raw functionality. Then R1 is better for UI and then just kind of actually understanding what you want to build, even though it doesn't always implement the functionality correctly. So super interesting. I'm also curious what you have experienced using these two different models. If you're experiencing the same kind of thing as me, or maybe it's totally different and one's way better than the other for you. For me, it seems like both are actually quite useful. So a lot more content coming soon, not necessarily comparing these models, but building more things using both R1 and o3-mini, both fantastic LLMs. So if you're looking forward to that and you appreciated this video, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. And with that, I will see you in the next video.